In the earlier video, we saw that the story needs to be consistent. But remember, storytelling itself is not enough. There are metrics. We need to understand the efficacy of storytelling. This video will talk about that. The strategic question in storytelling is often celebrated as emotional, creative, and intangible. But management asks a different question. What is the return on investment? Or for that matter, where is the ROI? If stories build brands, how do we measure their impact? A very pertinent question for anybody who is a marketer. If narratives shapes perception, then how do we quantify its value? Isn't that an important question? We spend so much. Then storytelling ROI is not merely about sales. It is about behavioral shifts, brand equity accumulation, and long-term financial impact. Today, we will examine metrics used across different media platforms. The process of measuring storytelling ROI. Where and how results are published. Where are all these metrics published? Let's start with the first one. What is storytelling ROI or return on investment? Storytelling ROI refers to the measurable outcomes derived from narrative-driven marketing initiatives relative to the investment made. Remember, any advertisement across omnichannel is nothing but money. It costs. So if it costs, it has to give me a return. It operates at three different levels. One, immediate engagement metrics, immediate attention from the customer base, and immediate interaction with the brand. The second one is midterm behavioral metrics, consideration of the brand, conversion to the brand, and finally coming back again and again buying the brand loyalty. The last one is brand equity metrics. What does equity metrics mean? It means brand recall. Can I recall the brand? The emotional association, and finally the pricing power, the cost of the product. The mistake many firms make is evaluating storytelling solely based on short-term sales. Storytelling builds memory structures. Memory builds preference. Preference builds profitability. Remember what some of the ads that we have seen when we were young still comes back to our mind. We still go and buy the Bata shoe for our children. How does that happen? Because it is very strong on metrics. Secondly, metrics across different media. Let us examine platform-specific measurement. How do we take the measurement? Let us say social media, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your X. What will be our key metrics to understand whether the brand or the story has been performing or not? We look into the reach, the numbers. We look into impressions and the engagement rate. What is an engagement rate? The number of likes, the number of shares, or the number of comments that are happening per post. The stronger indicators are if somebody is saving it or somebody is sharing it forward. We also look into the follower growth rate. Is somebody's followership increasing by percentage, month on month, then definitely the story is working. We look into sentiment analysis. What are the indicators for sentiment analysis? Engagement quality. What is engagement quality? The depth in the comment or the depth of the review language. We look into the share of voice. Share of voice can be seen through multiple AI native analytics. On their dashboards, you can find out how is the voice working out. We can use multiple social listening tools like Brandwatch, Sprout Social, Meltwater. Now look at this. There is a give and take, AI as well as the customer's own thought process. What is the interpretation? High reach with low engagement suggests weak narrative. But high saves and shares indicate strong emotional relevance. So these are the key metrics for your social media handles. For the video platforms, the OTTs, the brand films, the YouTubes, what will be the key metrics there? How many times has a customer seen the films, the view count? How long is a customer watching a particular film, watch time? What is the average view duration? Are you seeing it for 1 minute? Are you seeing it for 3 minutes? Are you seeing it for 15 minutes? Remember, these are long format videos. Or is somebody seeing the complete film? That means completion rate. Click-through rate, CTR. I just clicked, saw it, I moved forward. Right? Now there not much is happening, but you're clicking it. That's very important. And we also look into subscriber growth. Are people subscribing to that YouTube channel? It talks about audience retention graph. We can also do heat map analysis. Today, technology has gone so forward that if you are on the channel for a longer time, we can pick up the heat indicators. So what is the interpretation? Completion rate is more meaningful than views. As I said to you, if somebody is seeing through all 30 minutes, it's very important. Drop off at specific timestamps signals narrative weakness. If you keep seeing that on the 13th minute, people are dropping off, or on the 3rd minute, people are dropping off, that means the story is weak at the 3rd and the 13th minute. We need to work on the story once again. The third is the long form content, blogs, right? How do you look into a blog? What are the key metrics to measure ROI in a blog? How long are you there on that page? Time on the page. How fast or slowly are you scrolling? What is the bounce rate? You just don't get in. It comes through while you are scrolling. So that's a bounce rate. You have come in once, you want to read it again. That is returning visitors. Finally, of course, there is an SEO ranking, right? And the backlinks that is there on your YouTube. What tools can you use to study this? Take the usage of Google Analytics, or for that matter, use the AI tool SEMrush. What does both these things interpret? Longer time on a page suggests narrative immersion. Correct? If you're staying there for a long time reading it, it only means that you are immersed in that story. Whereas high bounce rate may signal misaligned targeting. Did you target it properly? You might not have. Let's come to podcasts. Podcasts are long format talk. What are the key metrics? Downloads. How many downloads has happened on this particular podcast? Completion rate. Are you there for the whole cycle of 45 minutes? Have you subscribed? subscriber growth. Maybe on day 1 it is 10, maybe on day 20 it is 100, maybe on day 3 it is 1000. Look at the growth graph, right? Listener retention. The listener is waiting and completing the entire thing. That is, the listeners are being retained. Finally, we start giving our reviews and ratings of any podcast. Now, how do you do this? How do you get the ROI? Brand recall surveys. You run surveys across people, those who have read through or heard through the podcast. Attribution links are collected. The podcast ROI is often indirect. It is not direct. It builds intimacy through thought leadership. Remember, podcast is a thought leadership talk which is going on for a good few minutes. So therefore, it is creating an emotional engagement with the leadership. Okay, what happens in the offline world? Till now we are all talking about the digital world. In the offline world, it is experiential storytelling. Did you experience the brand? If you have experienced the brand, how will we calculate the return on investment? For example, footfalls. So, the day the first PVR opened, how many people actually walked in? You can count the footfalls. You do remember that L-shaped door that you have to go in through. How long did you stay there? Did you pass on to the word to other people and there was a lead generation which was happening? If there was an event which was happening in that particular shop or in that particular event area, did you participate? Plus, post-event surveys also can be done. We can also track client lifetime value. That means, how many times has the client come back to the same shop to buy the same brand? Remember, the moment you swipe your card or the moment you use UPI or any digital transaction, you are a number for life and it can be tracked. You can upgrade by giving some kind of offers, the frequency of the customer returning back to your shop again and again. And finally, of course, the referral rates. How many times are you referring? You must go and visit this shop. You must go and eat at this restaurant. Each of them is a referral contact. The process of measuring storytelling ROI is very important. Measurement is not accidental. It is structured, absolutely structured. Step 1, define the objective of your narrative. What is the objective of the story that you have designed? Is it to increase awareness of a new product or an old product? Or is it to build an emotional association? Or is it to drive conversions? People must buy. Or are you repositioning the brand in my mind? When I say my mind, the customer's mind. The metrics that you design must align with the narrative's objectives. So when you first start writing the brand narrative, you must write down what is this narrative's objective. It comes at the end for metrics measurement. Step 2. Set KPIs per funnel stage. You have to set performance indicators. In the marketing funnel, the awareness stage focuses only on building visibility, not buying, building visibility, where the objective is to ensure that the brand or the campaign reaches a large and relevant audience. Relevant means your target audience. This is typically measured through metrics such as reach and impressions. Let us take a luxury watch brand for understanding it. Let's say a luxury watch brand is going to launch a new collection, correct? You may have to assess how many high net worth individuals, HNIs, were exposed to its airport billboard campaign. Billboard campaign is an hoarding campaign at the airport. Or maybe during the prime time, if the watch has had a television commercial. Remember, prime time television commercial is extremely costly. At the engagement stage, that was about awareness. At the engagement, the objective shifts to creating an emotional connection with the audience. So, do I really fall in love with this product? Do I want to buy that product? I want it. Then here metrics such as engagement rate, video watch time, social shares, comments indicate whether the story has resonated. That means, did the customer fall in love with the story? For instance, if a brand film is showcasing craftsmanship, right? Let us say a Kanjivaram sari, and it retains viewership for 80% of its duration, as long as it is being shown on the television. It suggests very deep narrative immersion. Now, from awareness to engagement to consideration stage, it reflects active evaluation. Consideration is just before you buy, where consumers begin to explore the brand more seriously. Indicators such as click-through rate and time spent on product pages reveal the intent and curiosity of the customer. While potential buyers browse detailed product descriptions, or let us say heritage stories, they are mentally actually moving closer and closer towards the purchase of that product. The conversion stage, the next one. The conversion stage is, it actually measures purchase behavior, the customer's purchase behavior, which is assessed through sales volume, conversion rate, and cost per acquisition. So, if you have to get one customer to buy one Nike product, what is the cost per acquisition of that one customer? That is called CPA. For example, a limited edition handbag is selling out within days. It only signals effective storytelling driven by conversion. And the final stage is the loyalty stage, the brand loyalty stage. What does it evaluate? Retention. I come back again and again to buy the same brand. Thereby, I am creating a long-term value creation. Remember customer lifetime value, which I just now mentioned. CLV demonstrates actually whether the narrative, that means the brand story, has actually built an enduring attachment to the brand. Okay? In luxury marketing, this stage becomes critical because sustained loyalty often matters more than just one-time sales. Why luxury marketing? Any marketing. If I go back again and again and again and I buy Nike shoes for myself over years, it means the story that Nike is telling across platforms is working beautifully, right? That means the ROI is working very beautifully. Okay. We also have something called as attribution modeling. Single touch attribution. Attribution means reason. Okay. Single touch attribution is outdated. Multi-touch attribution is omni-channel work, right? So, omni-channel work tracks what? First interaction. Where did you first interact with the brand? It assists interactions, right? Today you have chatbots, so chatbots can keep talking to you. Finally, the conversion. When and how did you buy the product? Storytelling often functions at the top or middle of the funnel. Its ROI may appear indirect. It could be indirect. I have seen the story today, but I'll buy the product after 1 month. So it's an indirect attribution, which is absolutely possible. What happens is sometimes we lift brand stories. So thereby, how do I understand the ROI here? I will do pre and post campaign surveys. That means brand runs a campaign. Before running the campaign, there is a survey. After running the campaign, there is a survey, and we do brand recall tests, purchase intent studies. These are critical for narrative campaigns. Let's say for a cred, right? Or for that matter, when Maggie came back again into the market, and then it started a new campaign. We have to find out whether that new campaign is working or not, whether that story and narrative is working or not. We do surveys, brand recall and brand loyalty. Where are these results published and how are they published? So much of data is being created for us to understand the ROI on the narratives. Storytelling performance data appears in multiple places. 1. It appears on the internal dashboards of the chief marketing officers. All this data appears on the quarterly marketing reviews at board presentations. It has to be disclosed in the annual reports. Particularly for the public limited companies, they need to disclose by law what is the brand value growth which has happened in the last year, okay? Or what is the marketing expenditure that the organization has done for its brand? And what has been the impact of it on the revenue of the company? Let me try to explain this to you through an example. Let's say Nike includes brand-driven revenue narratives in annual filings. When I say annual filings, that means it is disclosing it in its annual report. Whatever they have spent for all their marketing campaigns, they have to talk it there. Tata Consumer Products report campaign-driven growth insights in investor presentations. Now, this is very different. Like Jagore created a huge hangama, created a huge impact on the voting capability of our people. That was being projected to the investor. And the investor becomes much more dependent on the company, or rather his trust increases multifold. You must also know that it is published in industry reports by AC Nielsen, Kantar, Deloitte. Right? These are the three major companies which talk about how the brand performance happens globally, which include brand equity indices. Has the brand grown or has it fallen, or has it had fallen and gone up again? So there are multiple indices to talk about it. It also talks about media effectiveness benchmarks. So for a particular brand campaign, which media has been more effective? Was it Instagram or was it newsprint? Was it television or was it podcast? This also comes out in their case studies. I hope you all are aware about Cannes and Effie Awards. All this data is mentioned during the awards, which have to be disclosed if the brands are participating. Their ROI percentages, what has been their sales uplift because of the campaign, or if there has been a market share growth. If you are participating at a Cannes or at an Effie competition, which is a global competition, dear friends, they have to disclose their growth. Storytelling return on investment or ROI is not merely a spreadsheet exercise. It's not an Excel sheet. It requires strategic clarity. What do I mean by strategic clarity? Whether it is awareness, whether it is emotional bonding, or whether it is a launch, or whether it is a repositioning. Strategically be clear about it. Metric discipline. Understand which metric will you apply. Look at a long-term orientation, no short-term stories here. Not every story can convert into profits immediately. But every strong story compounds, multiplies over time. The brands that win are not those that shout loudest. No. They are the ones that measure the metrics very, very wisely and interpret beyond vanity metrics. When I say vanity metrics, what does it mean? More than being proud about the metrics, they need to be grounded. They need to look at it very, very practically. Now, if I'm talking about social media so much, I think we also need to understand ROI in the offline media. The main offline medias are newspaper, television, radio, and OOH, which is out of home or the hoardings. Offline media assessment requires methodological discipline because direct click-based attribution does not exist. It's not like our digital medium. However, impact can be measured through structured media metrics, which is a very long-term study. Econometric modeling, brand lift studies, and sales correlation analysis. In luxury brands, particularly, evaluating offline storytelling is not merely because of reach. Reach means how many people did I reach out to. But it is also meant for prestige amplification, perception shifts, and pricing power reinforcement. Think about it. A LV tote costs a lakh of rupees. Then how strong is their storytelling? You need to understand that. And how are you going to measure the metrics? Okay. So let us say on the television, what do we see? We see ads, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. We see brand films on broadcast, long format, max 1 minute, 2 minutes. So what are the core media metrics here? We look at gross rating points or television rating points. What does it mean? How many people were watching that particular ad in that particular point, in that particular city, in that particular program, right? Reach and frequency. How many people did I reach? Let us say from the 9 p.m. band to the 10 p.m. band. How many times in a day did I show my ad? That is frequency builder. And finally, what is the cost per GRP? So in a day, I might be showing my ad 20 times but across different time bands. So what is my GRP for that particular day? And who gives this data? Bark and AC Nielsen gives this data internationally. They are the authorized people to do this specific data collection across the globe. Okay? Okay, let's now come to storytelling specific metrics. When I'm telling storytelling means an ad has gone, a story has happened, daag achhe hain. Now, I need to measure whether that ad was good or bad. So what do? We do a study of brand recall. Unaided and aided. When I say unaided, it means we suddenly tell you a detergent ad. Have you seen it? Now that is totally unaided. Detergent ad where children were playing, that is an aided one. So we are giving a small cue. Ad recognition scores. We show a multiple number of ads to an audience and tell how many ads can you remember. That is ad remembrance score. Emotional response testing. These are pure neurometric. Some ad is running and what is the change on your face is being recorded by machines all around you. And finally, brand lift studies. How many times have you used the brand in other presentations, in other talks? Brand lift studies. Sales attribution. This is very, very specific. Time series sales analysis during a campaign window. If a campaign is running, let us say from 1st of January to 1st of February, within this time frame, what sales has happened? Very easy. Across the geography that they want to study. So geographic split testing. So you can take South India, you can take North India, East India, West India and accordingly map it. We can also do econometric modeling. What is econometric modeling? Marketing mix modeling. Marketing mix is product, promotion, place. How do you put all these things together and then you do it? And where are these presented? They are presented at investor presentations. This data is presented at investor presentations to build brand reputation. It is presented during annual reports. By law, you have to do. If you are going for awards, then Lions or Cannes or Effies, they require your data that will support that your advertisement has a beautiful, compelling storytelling narrative. This was for the TV medium. What happens in the newspapers or in the print media? How do you collect the ROI of a particular brand story or a particular narrative? Here, the metrics are collected from the circulation numbers. When I say circulation numbers, it means, let us say, how many numbers of papers are being sold in the city of Bangalore, or in the city of Mumbai, or in the city of Chennai, or Hyderabad, wherever, circulation number. Readership demographics. How many people are reading that newspaper, okay, in which your ad is there? And finally, where is your ad placed? Is it placed on the front page? Is it placed in the back page? Or is it in a supplement? Where is it? Because the position of the ad in the newspaper makes it visible. Little different for the luxury brands because the publication choice here signals the positioning. It is not like the luxury brands rarely get into the regular publications. They might pick up selective publications, hence they have a symbolic value. Let's look at the engagement indicators. If you recall, every ad, most of the ads today have a QR code. Every time a customer scans that QR code, you are recorded at the back end. Every time you go and click on the URL which is published in the ad, you are a number. If there is a coupon which is given, if you are redeeming the coupon, you are a number, right? So directly the moment you are exercising your engagement through the newspaper, it spikes an engagement. And that can be recorded. That's a metrics. We also do something which is called as brand perception studies. Remember, any brand is a perception. Print campaigns, particularly, are often assessed through prestige perception tracking. Front page, is it a prestigious ad? How do you feel about that? A person's perception is tracked with the help of surveys. Awareness shifts amongst HNIs. HNIs yesterday did not know probably about certain builders, but today they know about them. So how did that happen? Media quality index, for example, is the media in which you are publishing your ad. How much credibility does that media in itself holds, right? So in the media world also there is a credibility ranking. And with the credibility ranking is the cost of that particular ad. So you have seen TV, we have seen newsprint, and now we will see what is radio. In a radio, storytelling works through very intimate dialogues and multiple repetitions, right? So the RJ, the radio jockey, keeps on speaking. So here, what are the quantitative metrics that we can take care are again the reach. Suppose you have got the morning 8 to 8:30 band in a particular radio station, how many people are listening to it at any given point of time? And your ad is appearing there. How many times in a day has your ad been played? It builds frequency. And in which time band are you advertising your brand? That talks about time band listenership. Generally in radio, the cost is calculated per 1,000 people. And this is done via radio audience research panels. There are multiple panels which study the radio audience. Indian listenership is there, and the IMRB does it. Of course, Deloitte does it also. So all of these people, they have got their research panels and the effectiveness is found. We also look into call-in response. Remember the RJ mentions and we dial the number, tuck, 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 and we start talking with the RJ. When the RJ is mentioning a brand, that is called call-in response. Because of the ad, is the traffic spiking on the website of the ad? Let us say Colgate is advertising something. Does that mean the consumer is also checking the Colgate website? It is a direct relationship between the ad which is happening and the spike which is happening on the website. Are people using the promo codes? Definitely it's a spike. Then of course we have brand recall surveys as we have in the television. Let me tell you very, very clearly that radio is particularly used for event storytelling. One major event is happening. So blast it through the radio. It has a much effective reach. If you have sudden launches or limited launches, then radio is a wonderful platform to utilize. Or regional luxury expansion. Let us say some regional jewelry company wants to expand itself by opening a second showroom, then use radio. Much, much better than television or newsprint. That works better in a radio because there is not much of wastage. Particular city, particular radio channel, particular showroom, and you have it. Let's talk about the hoardings, which is known as billboards. Billboards at the airport increases the visibility, right? Therefore, it is directly connected to prestige of that particular brand. How can you get the metrics? Very simple. Traffic count, the data. Every car passing through the airport is a number. So you can count it. Accordingly, you can make out how many times did anybody see that ad. Okay? And if it is within the airport or within the malls, then how long did the person stay in the airport? In the airport, you only have to look around the digital panels. So the dwelling time is taken. The most important thing in a billboard is the location of where it stands. Within an airport terminal, it signals status. But in the city also, at particular locations where the traffic is very high, and if there are signals at the traffic, then that billboard becomes very costly because people and vehicles will stand and watch it. Well, how can you enhance the measurements? You can take the help of geofencing analytics, or you can take the help of mobile device movement tracking. Today, if I am moving with my mobile from A place to X place, it can be tracked. Footfall in any boutique, in any mall, in any airport can be tracked, right? After a campaign is over, I can pick up a particular area and do a post-exposure survey. All of these things are data points, and these data points actually tell us as to the efficacy of the story that has been told in the brand story. There are a little more advanced offline measurement techniques. I did mention about marketing mix modeling. Then there are multiple statistical models which also can be used to find out, did the ad actually contribute to the efficacy, or did the story really stand out? There are multiple statistical models which can be taken in TV or in print or on the billboard or even in the digital media. All of this, when they are collated together, right, it helps to estimate the return on investment of the brand. Everywhere that you are letting your story being told is money being paid to tell your story to the customers. Thereby, collate all the data, all data points, and then study whether the story has made an impact or not. Because of which we do have something called brand equity tracking studies. Whenever there is a campaign, the equity of the brand in the customer's mind must increase. It can be done quarterly or it can be done every 6 months. What does this measure? It simply measures the prestige perception. The marketing mix metrics actually studies, if I have bought a Nike or if I have bought a Mercedes or if I have bought something else, did my prestige increase? Was I emotionally resonant towards the brand, right? These 2 points become extremely important to understand perception mapping. And if that is happening, then is the customer ready to pay that high premium to get hold of that brand? The story has to engage me, and then it has to coerce me to buy the product. Beyond this, of course, there are econometric analysis, which is a time lag correlation between 2 campaigns. So you have one campaign which is running in the first half of the year, the another one running in the second half of the year. Then you compare the sales growth, you compare the average selling price, and then you compare the market share of the product. Thereby, you can tell whether campaign A has worked or whether campaign B has worked. So many data points are required to find out whether the story, the narrative has been compelling enough to build the brand. And where are all these data again published? As I said to you, they are published in annual reports, in media investment disclosures, in brand value commentary, into the investor world, wherever the brand needs to create trust. All this data needs to be presented. Only then a growth insight can come out, right? It is also presented at multiple industry effectiveness forums or awards. For example, CII, or for that matter, ASSOCHAM, or for that matter, at FICCI. They are all presented. This data is presented. ROI figures are disclosed in any submission. It has to happen, because you are putting in investment and thereby your story is being told and thereby market share is happening. So this growth path, putting in investment and the output is the growth in market share, needs to be captured. Everywhere it comes out. It comes out in media reports, it comes out in campaign performance audits, and of course, Bain and Company and Deloitte. These are 2 companies which also gave globally the luxury reports or the wealth reports. So wherever you are spending, whether it's a luxury product, whether it's a premium product, or whether it's a mass product, Dear friends, every single rupee is accounted for. If a company is putting in money to create a compelling narrative and then pumping it out through multiple media channels or platforms to reach the customer so that the customer buys your product, thereby increasing the revenue, growing the sales curve, finally increasing the market share, then remember how important is it to build the spine of your story, right? Every story, whether it is emotional, whether it is transactional, whether it is a campaign, costs money to the brand owner. So if every pie is seeking a return on investment, the primary people who invest into the brand are the storytellers, those who make the story spine. Thereby, it becomes extremely important for us to understand what is the compelling narrative that we are building for our brand, such that the ROI is robust and positive, and there is an incremental market share which is happening across media throughout all the reports that is possible. Till we meet in the next video.